All right, everybody, we're back with more reviews. This is the last chunk of albums out of rotation number 11. This is my third time trying to record this because I've been interrupted by a Windows notification and a phone call. So I'm going to try my best to remember the things I said. Starting out, we got Soundtrack to a Death by Muramasa, which I finally pronounced correctly because it's always been stuck in my head as Mansa Musa. And I just couldn't seem to get it right when I said it out loud. I haven't been exposed to a lot of trap, and the trap that I had been exposed to was rap based, so didn't have a lot of previous experience with the genre. But this album was really nice. It was subdued, it was heartfelt, relaxing, not necessarily lo-fi on a technical level, but it hit that same kind of vibe for me. Just a very chill, enjoyable listening experience from Soundtrack to a Death. Since I listened to this, I tried making a trap beat with one of my songs, and I don't think I did a great job emulating that. But this album was nice. Definitely helped me understand that some of my preconceived notions about trap as a genre were definitely biased. I don't know that I'd heard good trap like this before now. But it was a good time. I'd give it a 7.5 out of 10. Then we have Cape God by Ali X, submitted by Jake. And this was another really nice one. I'm generally averse to pop. Pop is really vibes based for me, where if it's going for we're having a good time, or I love this person, just things that I guess I don't find particularly engaging, things I don't find particularly interesting or unique, it just doesn't capture me, it doesn't grab me, and that's okay. People are allowed to enjoy what they want to enjoy. But I liked how dark, or maybe not dark, but brooding, it almost felt like an innuendo of darkness, where the darkness at times was very explicit, but there was an underlying tension, an underlying discomfort with a lot of this album that I appreciated a lot. And combining those elements with that more traditional pop feel, that traditional pop performance, really helped me enjoy this. I liked the synthiness of it. I liked how it was put together. I liked how it sounded. So all in all, especially for pop, this is going to get a pretty high rating. I give it an 8. Next up, I'm not on the right page. Okay. Next up, we got Up the Downstair by Porcupine Tree and a Voice Crack. This one's from Nick. I showed Nick this album, and it's fantastic. I love all things Porcupine Tree. They were the first band that I really got into on my own in high school. Actually, just ever. Porcupine Tree was the first band that I really took the time to explore their whole discography on my own. And they have had such a huge influence on the kind of music that I like. And Up the Downstair isn't really traditional Porcupine Tree. Actually, here, a little non sequitur. I've got a poster from one of the singer's solo records signed by the artist and him. So yeah, I really, really love Porcupine Tree. Now, Up the Downstair is one of their earliest works. They were really feeling out a psychedelic vibe before they transitioned into more of their progressive alternative rock sensibilities. The dog's going crazy. Dog's going crazy for no reason. I'm not restarting this recording again. Muffin! Hey! Alright, we're good. So this was before they really transitioned into their progressive alternative rock. And you still get kind of elements in that, especially with how dynamic and how intricate a lot of the composition and playing is, especially on the more lengthy instrumental tracks Small Fish, Up the Downstair, and especially Burning Sky / Fade Away is phenomenal, excellent music. I love the hard transition in the opening from what you are listening to synesthesia, or sorry, synesthesia. Just all in all, excellent psychedelic album. Beautifully crafted, beautifully executed. Love Up the Downstair. It's my favorite of their psychedelic era by a long shot. 8.5 out of 10. Now we got Depression Cherry by Beach House, submitted by Dom, and it was good. I've heard some Beach House. I've definitely heard the meme song, what was it called? Like Space Song? Was that his title? I think it was. And going back to what I was talking about with Ali X, I'm a fan of when pop takes a more interesting direction. But in contrast to Cape God, Depression Cherry felt a lot flatter, both in affect and expression. It just, it had that, what's the word? It had that depression. It had that, subdued element to it, but without nearly as much bombast or expressiveness. It was very placid. It felt like, if someone were making, a very cathartic and sad album dealing with, problems that they're going through, but they produced it on benzos. The emotion is present, especially in like just the literal way it's communicated and conveyed. And it is accentuated and highlighted by the atmosphere that dream pop produces. But when it's so toned down, when it's so neutral and flat, it just doesn't carry that same kind of weight that I would like it to. And so while this was really well executed dream pop, I know that Beach House are like one of the most widely acclaimed producers in that genre. It just, it didn't feel extraordinarily interesting to me. It was good. I'm not saying it's not, but it wasn't a like big standout moment on it. So it's getting a 6.5. We got Sometimes I Sit and Think, Sometimes I Just Sit by Courtney Barnett from Hunter. And it was good. I had a professor at Kent who would always like have music playing when we went into the room. And I'd say at least 50% of the time it was Courtney Barnett. So, I kind of knew what she was up to. I knew what her sound was going to be. I don't know how else to describe it, but Australian. There's definitely that really unique element to it that I've only heard in like contemporary music coming out of Australia, like King Gizzard, Tropical Fuckstorm, the Murlocs, fucking Tame Impala, that style, that tone. And I appreciate that. I like a lot of music that comes out of Australia. I really do. But the thing that I couldn't shake while listening to this whole album was a lot of this was reminding me of Car Seat Headrest, which is a good thing. I love Car Seat Headrest. But it didn't capture the spirit of them that I like. Never had those explosive moments, didn't have the bombast, didn't have regret isn't the right word. I don't remember what the right word is. But, it wasn't filled with the kind of emotion that makes Car Seat Headrest such a special band for me. And while I know it would be really insulting and wrong for me to call the work derivative, having listened to so much Car Seat Headrest, I couldn't help but feel it was derivative in some way. In no way do I think it was intentional. I think coincidentally they've developed really similar sounds, and her execution, or the way she likes to execute it, just makes me think of Car Seat Headrest and then make me wish, gosh, I kind of wish I was listening to Car Seat Headrest right now. That said, plenty of it I liked. I liked the song structure. I liked how it was performed. I liked her performance of it, and her lyrics were engaging and interesting in the same way that Car Seat Headrests are. They just didn't touch on those personal notes that make that such a special band for me. So I'm gonna give it. I think a 7.5 is a very fair rating for it. We got Love Deluxe by Sade, or maybe Sadie, from Xavier, and it was good. I'm not usually a big R&B fan, but this I don't know why it felt different. It gave me very chill vibes. Like, most R&B in my head, I feel it's like, oh, I love you, I'm gonna like treat you right, that kind of stuff. Very romantic, very like emotional, pleading almost. But this was really laid back. It was very casual, and I appreciated that. It really let me feel the smoothness of the grooves. It let me get into it more. I didn't feel a disconnection from the lyricist and the songwriter and the vocal. What am I saying? Didn't feel a disconnect from the lyrics because of how emotional they are, how specific they were. And I just generally liked that chill, laid back vibe to it. That being said, R&B still just isn't my favorite genre. I feel like it's a bit slow. Songs can sound a little samey, and I just don't find the subject matter a lot of the time very engaging. But of the R&B I've heard, of that which I've been exposed, this was standout in how much I actually enjoyed it. It would be something I could put on in the background just to relax. I think this is good. I'm at a 4-star restaurant where I'm going to pay $70 for 2 meals. And if I hear this playing in the background, I'm going to be pretty happy. So I think a 7. Yeah, I'm going to go back and change mine to a 7. I had it at 6.5, but, with some time sitting with it, I think it could be a 7. Lastly, for today, we got Lamp Gensuo, or Lamp Fantasy, by Lamp, from Evan. I was waiting for this album because that's such a good name for a band. And an album. Album and band, you got Lamp Fantasy by Lamp. That's fun. I like that a lot. Now, unfortunately, the music didn't do it as much for me. It was relaxing, it was chill, and it was interesting at points, but it did feel samey. Or, I could tell, for sure, the rhythms are changing, the melodies, the vibe stayed the same, though. It was fine. It's cool, a little jazzy, a little bossa nova in there, if you will. And I enjoyed it. It just, it didn't spark any really strong emotions from me. It didn't, inspire. It just didn't inspire me. And that's okay. Not everything has to. But other than that, I don't really have many major complaints for that one. I just think that it was perfectly fine. And it's okay to be perfectly fine. So for that, I'm going to give it a 6, which I think is fair. And that's going to do it for this rotation. So I'll see you guys in the next one.